Hey everybody, it's Rich with Did It, Done It Right, and today we're going to be covering inspection, cleaning, and maintenance of a residential refrigerator. So let's get started. Before we empty out the food out of the refrigerator, it's important to shut off the cooling system. On this particular model, it's on the front display. You hold the lock and filter reset for 3 seconds. You'll see a countdown from 3, and the unit is off. Good. So the first step today, we're going to be cleaning. So to do that, we're going to have to empty all the food into ice chests. If you don't have an ice chest, don't worry. You can use your sink or countertop, but you're going to be pressed for a little more time to prevent your food from becoming warm. All right, that was easy. Now all we have to do is remove the drawers and all the shelves. Most door shelves on major brands of refrigerators lift up and out. If they're stuck from spillage, you might need to loosen that with some hot water first. It's always a good idea to take a photograph of your refrigerator shelves so you know where they go back. You can also take a pencil and mark where the shelves are on their height. This will help you put them back exactly where they belong. Okay, now that we have everything out, it's easy to see where the water filter is. This water filter takes impurities out of the water coming into the refrigerator so the ice tastes better and your dispensed water is filtered. To remove your water filter, pull the tab towards you gently. These are very susceptible to breakage, so you'll pull that forward gently and pull down with your thumb. You can see the mechanism here. It's just a plastic hinge. Now I have the water bypassed on my refrigerator as I have the reverse osmosis running to it. But you would normally see a long tubular filter in here where you'll push in, turn it to the left, and pull outward. Installation is the reverse of that, pushing in and turning to the right. You'll see some notches right here and here where the filter will insert and then lock into the gears, and then you shut it as so. Okay, we're almost done emptying out the refrigerator from the bins and crispers. The last thing that I have to remove is the ice tray. The ice tray pushes in on the side and pulls straight out. You may have to jiggle it if there's ice stuck in there. And you'll just want to dump that ice in your sink or in a bowl for later use. Okay, now we're going to go through the process of removing the bottom drawer on a French door style refrigerator. Now, some of these are different depending on what model you have, but for this particular Whirlpool model, they're pretty much going to be the same. We're going to begin by removing a screw, 1/4-inch screw right here and right here. We're going to be lifting up these upper rails and removing the rack from underneath the holder. The upper rack has a rear wheel that is locked. It has one on the right side and one on the left side. It has 2 clips, one right here and one right here, that we will need to push in and lift up on in order to release it from the upper rail. You see how the locking mechanism raised up in order to release the wheel. Good, now for the left side. We're going to lift up the upper rail on the left-hand side to release the basket railing. Good. Now we're going to do the same thing to the right side. We're going to lift up the railing to release the basket rod. Perfect. Now we can just lift the basket out. Lift the front of the basket and pull upwards while the back is coming forward. Then lift straight out, being careful not to scratch your finish on the refrigerator. Okay, now we're going to remove the bottom drawer. The bottom drawer has two plastic clips attached to the railing that hold in the bottom drawer. Okay, the view that you have right now is the left-hand side rail, and I have the clip that you need to push in centered in the camera. So what we're going to do is we're going to push that clip in while we're pulling forward or towards you with the railing. That'll unlock the railing mechanism. Once you get it into that position, we're going to do the right side. Then the entire drawer will just pull forward and out. Okay, now for the right side. Perfect. Now on some models, there are screws still in the machine that were holding this railing to the frame. You may have to remove a couple of screws on either side in order to remove the bottom drawer. Okay, now that we have both clips pushed in, the one on the left and right, we can now remove the drawer. The entire rail system will pull forward and lift this drawer out. I pull the drawer about halfway out, push forward, and grab the rails with both hands. I use gloves to prevent grease from getting on my hands. And just lift the drawer out. Okay, one note before you put your drawer back in, you might want to pull off the front kick plate. It'll make access to the condenser a little bit easier. We're going to pull it out and go through the back as well, but we want to pull this front kick plate off and clean it and remove any debris. You can see how it accumulates on there over a year, and that restricts the airflow for the compressor and the refrigerant. To reinstall the drawer after we're done cleaning inside the freezer, it's the reverse of everything we just did. So we will begin by aligning the rails of the drawer with the rails on the refrigerator, here and here. Once you get the beginning of the rails in the front, you can push the drawer backwards to help seat the rails. You will encounter some resistance. It's going to feel a little rough at first, but push it all the way back. Then open your drawer and lock your right-hand side rail by pushing forward towards the back of the freezer. You can use a screwdriver or your hand. Did you hear that clip? That means that it's positively locked in. We're going to do the same on the left side now. Okay, here we are on the left side of the refrigerator. We're going to do the same thing, except instead of using the screwdriver this time, I'll just use my hand. Do you hear that positive click? It is completely locked in, and now the drawer will slide freely. Perfect. Okay, we're going to put the top basket in the freezer now. Open your freezer drawer. Get your basket. Make sure that the wheels are towards the back on this model, and just set your basket into the top. Good. Okay, now we're going to have to insert the basket into the railing. We're going to lift the railing so the basket can slide underneath and release it. Good. Now we're going to do the left side. Lift up the left side upper railing and slide the basket underneath and let it go. Now we'll lock the wheels in place by pushing down on the wheel. That's now locked in on the left-hand side. Now it's time to lock in the right side. Good. Push your basket all the way back. Get your screws so we can lock them back in. Now that we have the upper basket locked in and the wheels locked, let's make sure that it rolls freely. Perfect. You have now removed and reinstalled a freezer drawer. Okay, now we need to access the mechanical panel in the back of the refrigerator. To pull out the refrigerator, you may need to put some cardboard down or carpet, something to protect your floor. My refrigerator's on wheels, and right now I'm checking to ensure that there's enough water line and power cord for me to pull the refrigerator entirely out. Make sure you unplug the refrigerator, and now is a good time to clean back there since we'll be working behind the refrigerator. Now we're going to remove the back panel by removing 9 1/4-inch screws. my flashlight has a magnet on the back, so that's where I keep the screws so I don't accidentally suck them up with the vacuum cleaner or kick them under the refrigerator or lose them. There will be links below for all the tools that I use to complete this job. Gross. This back panel is absolutely disgusting. This is 1 year's worth of buildup, and I don't have any pets, but this is pretty bad for a year. This is the condenser fan motor. I like to clean the blade on that before I put everything back together. Of course, the unit is unplugged right now, so there's no risk of it turning on. The water that you see there is the drainage from the freezer evaporator, and that's the hose right there. When this unit goes into defrost, water runs down the drain tube and it circles down from this anti-siphon and it drips down into the pan. The heat from the fan and the condenser evaporate the water out. So you do need to clean this from time to time to prevent it from getting pre-gross. Wow, what a difference. This refrigerator almost looks good enough to put food in. The yearly refrigerator service is done. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the comments. Thanks again.